Awesome. What's up, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Expert Mentors Live. This is episode 48. I cannot believe we are coming up pretty dang quick on a year of doing this. It's been awesome, and we've had tons and tons of great expert mentors jumping in and adding value. And, today's going to be no different, especially this topic. I'm absolutely passionate about this topic, and actually when you sign up and you start coaching with us, it's one of the first videos that I'll have you watch. And I think I've recommended this video, the TED Talk and the book more than any other TED Talk or video or book ever. So I'm super excited for this. I've got my notepad. I'm ready to dive in. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Luis German on with us. How you doing, man?
Good, John. Good, man. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here and be able to share, talk about this topic.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Your brother Carlos sent me a text message, just like he was fired up. He sent me a text, and like I had like all of the weeks laid out. I was like, man, I can't get him in, and then we had to shuffle the deck this week, and so I appreciate you jumping in, on short notice. I know it's going to be a ton of value. Carlos was super pumped, super excited to have you on and really share with everybody. So, man, I'm ready to jump in whenever you are.
Absolutely. So again, thank you. Real quick, it's funny that I told you guys at Key West at the mastermind, I was like, one of my goals one day is to be able to present to you guys. So, I know this is a good stepping stone to one day getting up front live. So thanks again.
Got it. I'm excited, man. Appreciate you.
So, the first thing I want to do is tell a story, and kind of why this is so important to me and why I see so much value in this and what type of person is also going to see value in this. And I am not the best connector, right? I know I'm great at the product knowledge and the information, and I know all the numbers, can provide tons of value, but it's not easy for me to just naturally connect with my clients and build that relationship, establish that, just that good feeling. I feel really good about this guy. He's very smart. He knows his stuff. He's a local expert, but I don't really know much about him. So 2 years ago, I had just recently wrapped up my NEA training, became a certified expert advisor, and I was on fire. I go to a listing appointment. It was a Red X lead. The property had been on the market for 336 days. And I go in there, I got my placemat, I got my tear sheet, and it's done. Boom, boom, boom. Get the listing, get it at the commission we want. And we ended up selling it 47 days at full price. Happy client. Fast forward 1 year, 1 year later, that same client, so this is now February of last year, that same client is getting ready to sell her primary home, luxury listing on a peninsula in between two ski lakes, beautiful home. And I get a call, of course, I'm thinking this is a layup. I've already worked with this seller before. I've proven myself. She's seen my marketing. She's seen my systems. We sold her last property. I didn't get it. And it was, I was devastated.
Right.
So, I was like, how the hell did this happen? And who got the listing? An inexperienced agent. With no proven track record, not really much of a system. And, what's funny is I'm actually friends, with the agent who got it. Great personality, very charismatic, nice person, and at the end of the day, the seller told me she just felt a connection with this other agent. And she just felt right, about working with her. And nothing I could do at that time. So house didn't sell. Seller now decides, you know what? Okay, I can't worry about connection. I'm going to hire the best luxury agent in the market. And that's exactly what she did. This guy is a rock star. House still didn't sell. So now the house has been on the market almost 300 days. I've been keeping track of this thing the entire time. It's off the market a little while. Finally, I get a call. She responds because I've been obviously texting back and forth, emailing, calling. Finally, I get a response and I get my shot. And sold the listing in 30 days at full listing price. So again, I had to, go through the same process with her that I did the first time.
Yep.
So, the two lessons in that story are, one, any agent, whether you're new, green, don't know what you're doing, inexperienced, can go out there and get any listing, any client. If you just connect with them on a deeper level, if they feel good about you, if they feel your passion, and that's huge.
That's great.
When I did this training live, there's a bunch of new agents in the room. So I made sure and I looked at every single one of those new agents in the room and said, you could go out there and be, somebody with all the experience in the world and the proven track record, just with passion and with connecting with that client. And the second lesson I learned was that being the logical choice, having a proven track record, having the best system, a repeatable system, doesn't necessarily always win. It just simply isn't enough to keep it going, consistently. So that's where I'm coming from. This is why this is so important to me to, read this book, start with why, and to come up with a system where I don't let things like this happen again, where if you're not connecting with your clients, you don't let, you're never having these things happen to you. So, obviously, as when you have these things happen to you, obviously the best thing you can do is just learn from them, gain experience. And I definitely try to do that myself. So
I love it. That's thank you for sharing that. And there's a lot of things there too. And, you can't take for granted just because you had the opportunity and you worked with somebody that you're going to be able to automatically work with them again. And when you do, you got to go back through the whole process, right? People need to be reminded more than they need to be told. And they're not going to remember the presentation that you gave to them the first time, right? We just can't assume that. And so those are some great nuggets, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. So starting with why, obviously, I don't know where I was, but it might have been Michael Reese. It might have been at the mastermind. Somebody said, read the book, start with why. I wrote it on my list, just like you had just given me a book, before we hopped on, added it to my list, and I'm going to get to that book. So finally got to it. I had no idea who Simon Sinek was. I, did not know about the TED Talk, which is actually the number 3 most viewed TED Talk of all time. I found that great. So that's the origin, which I want to get to, from where this is all coming from. And I want to go over passion, some of the common themes that, have just been coming up at recent masterminds, recent trainings, recent events and talks that I've gone to, connecting, and then some examples that he kind of illustrates in the book. And, we've all done training on finding your why. I know we've done it here with Carlos over the years, and we've always treated our, finding the why for ourselves. That's the way I've always seen it, is try to figure out what your why is so that you can be motivated, so that you can do all the work and focus and stay consistent and do everything you need to do to be successful. But I never had someone tell me to take your why and communicate it to your customers, to your clients. So obviously, why, yes, it is just another word for passion. you know, and like we illustrated in this talk, you know, people don't buy what you do, they buy what you do it. So you could read this book and just think, oh, okay, I just need to be more passionate in what I'm doing. And yes, that's true. But I want to take it to that next level where he's talking about it and communicate it. Because yes, I've found my passion. I love what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing it, but I've never communicated it to my clients. That's that missing link. And some of the common themes that we've been talking about recently have been coming up is building relationships over, you know, just generating leads. You know, if we build those relationships, they're going to lead to more referrals. One of the common themes recently has been empathy. How do we create more empathy with our clients? And all of these things, you know, combined, just been in my head the last several months, you know, just gave me the idea, okay, how can we, one, I read this book, now we have to go and translate this to, you know, action items that my whole team, everyone that we work with can go out there, start with why, and better communicate their passion to their clients. One great book I just read, actually, John C. Maxwell, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And again, that's the difference that I'm trying to make. I can communicate very effectively, but am I connecting with these people?
That's awesome.
And some of the examples that, you know, are very clear out there, you know, and that Simon Sinek talks about in the book are Apple. You know, think about Apple, their commercials, the way they present their products. What they do is typically always the last piece of the puzzle. You know, I just watched their event the other day where they announced a new credit card, then they announced some new services. And even the way they present a brand new credit card is different than anyone else. The first thing they talk about is financial health and the importance of that and security. And then they go into, okay, this is how we're going to do this. And then boom, this is a credit card.
Right.
You know, the Wright brothers is a huge example he likes to touch on. Martin Luther King Jr. I love how he said, you know, imagine if Martin Luther King had gone up there and instead of I have a dream, he's got a 12-point plan on civil rights. You know, it simply wouldn't be as memorable or as lasting as I have a dream. I have a vision. And examples are all around us. And I think what's cool is that now when even politics or commercials on TV, postcards, you see where people start with why. And it's really cool when you start to notice all of the companies and different professions and different service providers that start with why or don't start with why, and how their advertising works or doesn't work. Does it trigger an emotion or not? I think that's one of the coolest things I'm noticing now is I'm kind of critiquing and noticing everyone's ads and how they try to So that's the origin and kind of all of the, you know, outlying reasons why this is so important. Why I wanted to do this, you know, Simon Sinek's book, the TED Talk, as you said, one of the first things you recommend people do is watch that TED Talk. And in that TED Talk, he goes over the golden circle, which is just a very simple visual of how we communicate. So we typically communicate from the outside in. We say what we do, which we all know what we do, right? Then we go into how, which most of us know how we do it. Some people always still trying to figure that out, right? Systems, whether you're a certified expert advisor, right? That would be a how. And then why. Very few of us know why we're doing what we do. Now, if I'm a realtor, you know, we're going to sell your home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. All right. That's what I'm going to do. And my how, smart home selling strategy, proven repeatable system, back my market research to sell your home for up to 18% more. It's funny how we can all knock this out in 2 seconds here in the office. We all have it memorized. That's how we're going to do it.
Right.
But why? Right? Are we triggering an emotion? Are we making the customer feel right about us? Do we even know why we're doing it? And a lot of people still have to figure that out. So I think the most important thing about all of this, and the coolest thing about all of this, is that it is not based on opinion. It's based on science, biology. And this is where Simon goes into the way the brain is set up, where the neocortex brain is rational, analytical, thought, language, the limbic brain, feelings, trust, loyalty, also responsible for all behavior, decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. So whenever you're, trying to explain why you feel good about something or why you like somebody or why you love your significant other, it's like, I don't know,
I just do.
It's like, And I have a cool video I want to share, a friend's exercise that he does. I don't know if you've seen that video, but it's a great exercise to try out if you're not 100% sure on what your why is. And so, have you ever someone tell you they understand the facts, they understand the figures, the numbers, etc., but it just doesn't feel right? This is why. I asked, the class, do people make decisions based on emotion or do they make them based on logic? And, you get different answers, emotion, logic, the answer is both.
Right.
People make decisions based on both. The key is that emotion comes first. Something has to feel right before it ever makes sense. And we recently did a presentation on the book, Exactly What to Say, which is another great one. One of my favorite parts in that book is where he talks about this. And if you've heard the audio book, he's so funny in how he expresses his emotion when he's like, you ever talk to somebody and they're not doing what you tell them to do? And it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. And, if it doesn't feel right, it can't make sense. And it's just a tougher thing to get somebody to make a decision if you haven't hit that limbic part of the brain first. So we typically communicate outside in, and when we do that, people are going to understand all the facts and the figures, but it doesn't drive behavior. As opposed to when we start with why, we hit directly that part of the brain that drives behavior, inspires action. And then we go ahead and we rationalize it with the what and the how.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
So a couple things there that really hit home and just want to emphasize for everybody listening in. And you said it there kind of in the beginning was one, you've got to know it, right? And I would love to, if you can get into that exercise that really helps people understand that. And then we want to, once you have it, you got to be able to articulate it, right? That's just like from a leadership standpoint, as a leader within, your organization, your home, in your community, is that one, you've got to know the vision, but then two, you've got to be able to articulate it, right? That's the whole thing. And that's leadership at, what it means, right? You've got to have those components in that order. And so that was key. And then, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes from an empathy standpoint is absolutely amazing, and will serve you so well. If you jump on YouTube and search empathy Cleveland Clinic and watch that 5-minute video from the Cleveland Clinic on empathy. If you're struggling to understand what it means, you watch that video, you'll get it. And I promise you, if you get through that without grabbing some Kleenex, some perspiration in the eyes, you might not be human if you can get through that without getting choked up. So that is the best 5 minutes I've ever seen that really just clicks empathy. And then, man, I loved that there, just really emphasizing, helping people understand how they make decisions. So I just want to just kind of recap some golden nuggets that I had already written down, and just want to be able to make sure that everybody picked those up.
Of course. So I actually do have the video right here for Simon's friends exercise.
Oh, nice.
And it's a short 2-minute video, so I'll play that for
everybody. Okay.
And then we'll go into that.
I love it.
So how do you know if your why is right? If your why gives you an emotional response and you have a feeling of clarity, you're definitely on track. Your why is a statement of who you are, and you are who you are no matter what you do or where you go. Your why is applicable in every aspect of your life, not just work. A great way to test your why begins with having a conversation with the people in your life who love you for who you are. Try this. I call it the friends exercise. I'll tell you about it now, and there's also a PDF you can download with step-by-step instructions. Think of the friends you love and who love you. The ones who, if you called them at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know they would answer the phone, and you would answer the phone if they called you at 3 o'clock in the morning. And ask them this question: why are we friends? Why are you asking me this? That's because the part of the brain that controls that relationship doesn't control language. It's actually hard for them to put it into words. So switch to the question, what? Come on, what specifically is it about me that I know that you'll be there for me no matter what? And they'll start describing you. I don't know, you're smart, you're funny. You play devil's advocate. That's the definition of a friend. What is it about me specifically that I know you'd be there for me no matter what? And again, they'll keep describing you. I don't know, I can trust you, you're loyal, you're always there for me. Continue to play devil's advocate. That's the definition of a best friend. Come on, what is it about me specifically? Don't help them, and don't let anybody else help them. Some will get through it quickly, and some will take a little longer, but you have to let them struggle. And eventually, they'll give up. They'll start describing themselves. That's what my friends did. They said, I don't know, Simon. All I know is that I can just be in the same room as you. I don't even have to talk to you, and I feel inspired. And I got goosebumps. And that's the point at which you know you've arrived at your why. Because when your friends articulate your value in their lives, you will have an emotional response. Goosebumps, or you'll well up, or something else. The point is, you've captured the value you have in people's lives, the reason people love you. This is your why, the thing you give to the world.
So
that's powerful.
Great exercise to try out, with significant others, friends, anybody who you have a good relationship with. And like he said, just keep picking at it, right? Play devil's advocate, get them to get down to the truth. And if you're still, if you don't have your why figured out, Simon does actually have a why discovery course, and obviously we've read and done courses here, and there's a bunch of different people obviously we could recommend. But I was looking into that, and it's an interactive course on finding out your why that he offers. So obviously, we have the origin, we understand the golden circle, the science behind this. People make decisions based on emotion and logic, but emotion comes first. It has to feel right before it makes sense. Now here comes the good part, obviously the action. How can we apply this? How can we, take what we've learned and apply it to our everyday business? And, obviously the title of the book, Start With Why, is goes into how great leaders inspire everyone to take action. So if you're a leader, great. If you're a team leader, a broker, you have an office, must read book. But for those who are just agents, realtors trying to sell homes, you're trying to get listings, you're trying to work with buyers. There are 3 different ways to start with why. And the first way to start with why is industry. That's your value proposition. How do you stand out from the industry? For example, if you are a certified expert advisor, you understand your value proposition. You have a proven, repeatable system, right? And the NEA and what they do, it's to stand out amongst, your average, what do we call it, John? The
AFA.
AFA, yes, average frustrated agent, right?
Yep.
We are, and honestly, that's a huge why for me personally. I look at listing photos that were taken with a cell phone. They're blurry. They're at an angle. That kills me. I hate that. And the agents who don't respond, or you can't schedule a showing, and part of what the certified expert advisor is, it's trying to tackle that. Then there's your client's why. In order for us to help our clients to the best of our ability, we need to know their why. We need to understand what motivates them, what is their end goal. And we can use that as well. And then obviously our own why. Our own why is where you get personal, as personal as you want, with your clients. So there is that deeper connection with you, and creates that trust, creates that loyalty to you personally. So for the industry, it can be with any of these: commercials, print, video ads. My best idea for an industry start with why is, if I have a website, I want a video of our team leader or myself, if I'm an individual agent, on that website outlining my value proposition. And this does 2 things. One, it allows you to present your value proposition to your, to your potential lead before you capture them, right? Because let's say this video is on your front page. It allows you to express your value proposition, but it also allows you to see allows them to see who you are. Right. They get the first taste of who I'm going to be working with, who is going to be helping me, achieve my real estate goals. If you're running a commercial, I actually have a great example, and I know everyone in the room hated this because it's a Redfin ad, but take a look at this commercial and see what they did here. They started with why, then how, and then what. It's a quick one.
Remember the way we used to do things?
Hey, man.
Like connect with friends,
Dig it.
or get in shape, or sell a house and pay a real estate agent a big paycheck. At Redfin, we charge you a 1% listing fee. And because Redfin.com is America's #1 brokerage site, our agents get more eyes on your home. So you sell for thousands more than the one next door. Don't get stuck in the past. Sell with a Redfin agent.
So that's tough, right? 1% listing fee. But that's, that's what we're competing against. And when you see that ad, when you see that ad kind of triggers an emotion first.
Right.
It's like it shows you outdated things we used to do that we just don't do anymore. And it makes it feel like, you know, hey, paying high commissions is a thing of the past. I shouldn't do that anymore either. And then they show me how great they are. And then they tell me what they're going to do. They're going to sell my house, which is what I want to do, right?
Right.
So that's a great example of an ad. And it's funny, I saw that ad watching TV like the night before I presented this. And I was like, I got to add this in there.
Yeah.
And you just, like I said earlier, you just start to see this, you know, everywhere. You start to see what ads start with why, which ones don't, you know, and really starts to click and give you ideas. So the next way you can start with why for your clients' why, if you're out there door knocking, if you're out there doing cold calls, if you're sending you know, mass emails, print ads, also commercials and videos, you can start all of these with that client's potential why, right? So if I am cold calling, I have to know what that client's potential why is. And I can start there. I can start that call with that. You know, for us here in Florida, in the Disney area, you know, some of my clients' whys are retirement living and, you know, having family visit you at Disney World, you know, having that place where all the grandkids want to come to, getting away from the cold. So if I'm targeting my clients, you know, my potential clients, those are the whys that I can start with. Are you sick of the cold? You know, show them the amazing, you know, life that they they could potentially want, you know, in retiring down to Florida, close to Disney or whatever. So these are all different ways where you could figure out a way to rather just, you know, knock on the door and be like, you know, straight get into what it is you're doing. Try to get a feeling out of them first. Try to hit that limbic part of the brain first with all of these different touches. You know, same thing, postcards. I saw a postcard, you know, that said, you know, big stop sign. And it was like, stop. You know, why would you relist your house with the agent who couldn't get it sold in the first place, right? You know, boom, anybody who's about to have a listing expire or is about to relist a property, that hits home too. It's like, maybe, you know what, maybe I shouldn't relist with this agent.
Right. I think too, you know, you nailed it right there. You gotta go through and identify who your ideal client is, right? What's that client niche, you know, who they really are, right? So you've got buyers, you got people that are looking to move into the area. So who is that ideal person? You've got people that are in the area, and if they're looking to make a move or move out, who is that, right? And you just got to go through that process and know, like you said, what are their pain points? What are they looking to solve? What are they hoping to accomplish? And that really starts to create, you know, your ideal client. And then you can tailor your message. It's that message to market match, right? To where things in your marketing, it starts to work for you, in knowing who that ideal client really is.
Of course. It's very huge. Again, you have to know who your client is. You have to know what motivates them, you know, in order to really be able to, one, get them, and then be able to help them to the best of your ability.
Absolutely.
And then the most important of all whys is your own. So this is where, so for example, with how we do business here, you know, with Carlos and our team, we mainly generate leads online. So once I generated a lead, they get an email from me. Welcome to my website. Based on the information they input when they registered, I get, you know, a few more details or whatever. It's not personal. Yeah, they see my picture, you know, in my email. There's nothing about me there. So what I'm envisioning is, imagine if that first touch, once I've generated a lead, is a video of me explaining my why, explaining my passion, why I'm here to help them, what is my goal. Whether that person is ready to buy that week or a year from now, that video is going to make an impact. And now every phone call, every email, every text that they get from me, every listing update, they see my face, they visualize me, they hear my voice, and I'm connecting with them again. Now every single touch is different because of that one first video that I sent where I started with why. So, we're all in the process of, coming up with, our own script for how we want to do this. And this could be something, honestly, as simple as you record it on your cell phone in your car, or you could have a nice production with lights or whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as it's coming from you, as long as whoever you're emailing this to or sending this to, has a better understanding of who you are, and why you're going to help them, why it is that you're in the position to help them with their search or sell their property or whatever. Another way is before every single listing presentation. So if you're using the NEA system, you're doing your seller counseling interview, before I send the whiteboard video, I would send my why video. And Carlos was actually doing this in a way. He would send, he has a red carpet video from the Cracking the Real Estate Code book. And he would send that to clients.
Yeah.
Then send the whiteboard video and then go to the house. When you go to the house and knock on the door, these people already know you. Mm-hmm. They know what you're about. They know what your passion is and why you're there. How much easier is that listing presentation?
It's easier to connect and build that rapport.
Oh, absolutely. If I've never, especially if you have an ISA who's doing your counseling interviews and you've never once spoken to these clients or they've never seen your face, it's difficult. No matter how good of an agent you are, no matter how many homes you've sold, you want to put yourself in a position that when you go and you knock on that door, they should already feel like they know you. They should already feel like, oh yeah, this is Luis or this is John, come right in, man. So good to see you, right? You're not just the salesman. You're not just the next selling agent, coming to pitch to sell the house. That's a great one. Those are two of my favorite ones. Must, my first touch now when I generate a lead online has to be my why video. If I will not go on another listing presentation unless I've sent out any video, my why video, explaining who I am and what I'm about. Also, let's say you don't have that opportunity. You get a last minute lead or, you're just going to meet somebody in person. Simply just start with why at that meeting. Simon, one of Simon's videos, he talks about every meeting he goes to, before you get into the business or whatever the purpose of that meeting is, he'll just flat out tell them why he's there.
Right.
And it may seem awkward at first, but just do it. You're only putting yourself in a better position if especially with me, right? Whenever I meet a client, I just want to get right down to business. I want to tell them, what properties we found. I want to tell them about the systems we use or whatever. But if I can just take a pause and, hey guys, before we get started, I'd like to tell you why I'm here today and, what's important, why, I want to be in the position to help you sell your home and what that's going to allow me to do for whatever my goals are, my family or whatever. How you know, how much better can that meeting go, right? How much better could that showing or presentation or whatever go? And these people are like, wow, like, you know, they'll thank you, you know, and it's going to be appreciated if it's genuine, if it's real. So yeah, going forward, you know, any meeting, any lead, any listing presentation, this is what I want to do before, you know, I'm in front of the client. If I don't have an opportunity to send that video, I will simply tell them my why there in person, live.
Yeah. It's the about me, right? What I stand for, right? What are, you know,
exactly
the standards at which, you know, where you come from, right? And it's just like what you said earlier is that sometimes we just our intuition, our gut is off, right? And it's because the man, it just doesn't feel right, is because that there's some incongruencies of the person or the situation that we're communicating with. So when people can understand where you're coming from, and like you said, it has to be genuine. If it's not genuine and it's not really who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, people will sense that. They will pick up on that in a hurry, and you're not going to get anywhere with them. So it's got to be 100% genuine with what you're saying and where you're coming from. So just be sure to be authentic.
Absolutely. And you know, if the goal is to create a client that keeps coming back, that is going to refer you their friends and their family, and it has to be authentic, because eventually it will, if it's something that's not real, if you're being fake, it will come out.
For sure.
You know, and one thing somebody alluded to is, yeah, but you know, our why needs to match our client's why in order for them to really care. I said, not really. You know, I think as long as you are genuine and authentic, you know, people appreciate, you know, your dedication to your own purpose. I may not want the same thing for me, but we can always appreciate when someone is going out there and doing what they want to do, you know, for whatever their cause is, whatever their purpose is. So, you know, your why doesn't necessarily need to match your client's why, in order for them to still want to work with you and be loyal to you.
Yep.
You know, so the end goal here is, you know, we're going to sell hundreds of homes on just what and how. Like, you know, we're that good. We're going to get referrals even from time to time because we're good, you know, but how many opportunities are we missing out on, you know, if we're not triggering any emotions, if we're not, you know, building a deeper connection, building a relationship with these clients? You know, how many referrals did we not get? How many, you know, could you have gotten that listing appointment you didn't get? Could that buyer, you know, have stuck it out with you versus, you know, going to another agent?
Right.
You know, and we've all dealt with it. The longer you're in this business, the more crazy things you're going to see, the more dishonesty and disloyalty you're going to see from your
get that connection.
From your favorite client who was like, oh, you know, you're hugging it 1 second and then the next second they're buying with another agent. And, you know, you're just kicking yourself like, how did this happen? You know, and one question, you know, that, you know, I asked was like, how can we get clients to work as hard for us as we do for them? And this is how I think, you know, if we can connect and establish, you know, like a deep-seated trust and loyalty to us, as long as we take care of them, as long as we come through, right? Because, you know, like that agent who connected with that client of mine, yes, she initially won and got that listing, but she didn't have the what and the how at that time to get the listing sold, right? So you need to, starting with why will get you, get you in the door, but having a great what and how is what will continue to keep that relationship moving forward, right?
Absolutely.
And get you referrals and whatnot.
It all works together.
Absolutely. Yep. So don't think just because you're passionate and start with why you're going to keep winning in this business. You're not.
Right.
But on the opposite end, having the best systems and knowing what you're doing you're not always going to win.
Right.
Simon, one of the things Simon talks about in the book, or in the TED Talk actually, is the law of diffusion of innovation. And how can we get to the conversion rate that we need to get to from all of the innovators and the people who are comfortable, making decisions on gut feeling, to then we're getting the people who make decisions based on referrals or based on other people doing it first. Because obviously the majority of people, what are called the early and late adopters, they don't do something unless someone else has done it first, unless it's validated or recommended. And it's a great point. Once you've figured this out and you start increasing your conversion, and then you're getting into, once you've gotten all those people to believe in what you believe and work with you because of who you are and what you believe, then they start getting you those other people who will work with you because those first people said, you got to check this out. You got to work with this agent. You got to go talk to Luis, or you got to go talk to John. He's the best. And that's where people will work for you as hard as they do, as you do for them, right? You ever ask somebody, hey, how you like those AirPods? And they could go on for 5 minutes about their AirPods, and that's why Apple wins. The people who love them rave about them. And I could convince anybody to go buy an Apple Mac or an iPhone or whatever, because, I'm that bought in. How can we get clients to get that bought into us and our service to where they're raving? Anybody who comes over their house, oh man, you gotta talk to my realtor.
I love it.
And then the last part of this, John, is beyond. Applying this beyond real estate, with your family, with your children, with your significant other. Obviously, as one of the main intentions of the book is, with your team, with your employees, with your staff, how are you inspiring those around you? How are you inspiring action in your family, in your kids, in your spouse or significant other, if you're just telling them what and how, right? So if we start with why in all different parts of our life, it can really just streamline a lot of things for you. I don't have kids personally, but, I'm already picturing, a conversation of, hey, you got to do your homework, or, you got to, read this book or blah, 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 okay, but why,
Yeah.
So I'm already like, all right, this is why, this is how, and then what? So I added this in there because I know there's a lot of value outside of, of our day-to-day business, and that people can take away from this book.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love that right there too, is, are you inspiring action to those around you? How are you showing up? And demonstrating, modeling the behavior that you want to instill. So like you even said with the kiddos, right? It's like, they're watching, right? I promise you, little Hector's looking up at Uncle Luis too, right? He's watching, right? So, so the kiddos are always watching, And it's just, are we modeling the behavior? But that carries over with our team as well, right? They're watching, they're paying attention. How are you showing up, right? Are you showing up on time, right? Are you taking care of business? How are you taking care of clients? Are you modeling that behavior? The things, the standards that which you live by and your values and really the place that you're coming from. So that's, man, that's good. And thank you for sharing that, the Simon Sinek, the friends exercise, because it's really driving down deep to how you're inspiring them. And I mean, you get goosebumps or tear up. I was getting goosebumps just listening to it. So if you're getting the goosebumps, when they're sharing that with you, too, I think that exercise also helps you identify your strengths and your weaknesses, right? So as part of that process as well, you can pull out what you're really good at and what you suck at, right? What you need to stay away from. And that's how we create that leverage around us and equipping our team, our life team, to help us offset what we're not the best at. So it's good, man.
Yeah. So actually, one last little nugget in there. I just finished the book Today Matters, another one by John C. Maxwell.
Yes.
And he's got the 12 different things you should focus on each and every single day. And one of the exercises he talks about is taking those 12 things and from 1 to 12, which ones you're best at to worst, and then take those bottom 6, and start working on those, one by one.
That's awesome. Yeah, Maxwell's got some amazing stuff. I'm actually kind of going through his new book that just came out, Leader Shift, and it's pretty powerful.
So yeah, start with why. Again, must. I think has to be put into action for all of us, and it can be something where you create a system, and you can do it once and set it up, and you're done, right? Just like we have our email campaigns, our drip campaigns, and we do automated searches for clients. Once I've figured out what my why is and I can articulate it, make a nice video of it, it's there. And now every single one of my leads is going to get that video as soon as I generate them. Every listing appointment that I go to is going to get that video before I go out. If I'm doing Facebook ads or postcards, or, I want to think about, okay, before I send out this card, am I starting with why on here? Is there a headline or something on here that is going to get some sort of reaction based on emotion?
Yeah.
Not just numbers, not just figures, not just, hey, I just sold this house for, $200,000. Call me. No, what can I say or do that will get that reaction, that can make the difference and make them then want to read the numbers and the facts and then give me that.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's the awareness, it's the about us type of campaign that takes a step further. When I think about that, I always go back to, if you go to digital marketers website and just find their about us, there's a video that Ryan Dice did with the whole team, right? And it kind of breaks down who they are at Digital Marketer. And you'll never once you see it, you'd be like, oh my gosh, right? And why do we not have one of these videos for our organization? And why do I not have this for my life, right? So if you want a good example, that's a dang good example to go look at and possibly model after. Ryan Dice's at Digital Marketer that kind of breaks it down. It's awesome.
Awesome. And one thing's for sure, these things have been done, right?
Yeah.
So there's
great examples
out there, and go ahead and copy, restructure it however you want, and just do it, right? John Cheplack said, "My crappy video is better than your non-existent video."
All day, every day.
You just gotta get it done.
All day. That is, man. Well, it's fantastic. So any final things that you want to leave everybody with as we're kind of wrapping up here?
You know, I think the biggest thing, we just did a training in our class, in our office here on, let me see if I can find it. Man, I got so many notes. Oh, yes. All right. So we just did a class in here. Carlos led it, 10 steps to mastery. We are learning and learning and learning and reading and attending these classes and seminars and masterminds, and we're taking in all this information, but then what are we doing with it? You know, so, you know, like my team here, I get to see them almost every day. I'm asking them, hey, you know, have you implemented, starting with why yet? Have you implemented the training we did before that? You know, so we did a class on starting 10 steps to mastery, you know, and making sure that you're taking the things that you're seeing on here on Expert Mentors, you're reading, or, you know, live classes you're attending in your market, and actually apply them, you know. And I think that's the most important thing is, you know, sometimes just taking a step back and being like, all right, I've learned so much recently. Now let me take some action and let me actually apply it and start seeing, you know, results of that.
That's it, man.
We could just keep reading all day and learn.
How are you applying it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that application and mastering part is really just what I would want to leave people with, and, you know, take action.
I love it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for jumping in and really bringing tremendous value and being a true expert mentor. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, John.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Make sure you guys will get this, you know, repost it. Please share in the comments, you know, one of your big takeaways, and then make sure you guys give Luis lots of love for bringing this training to you guys today. So I appreciate it. Thank